Please welcome Def Leppard.
Bonjour, how you doing? Hello, Wyatt, Planet Rock, London, England.
Where?
Here, it's too hot to stand. I'm boiling.
How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I've got a twofold question with a bit of context so it'll make a bit of sense. This union with Motley Crue, and I call it a union because it's going on and on. You did the stadium tour in the US, that happened after the pandemic, and now you've done the South American stuff. We're here in France, done Europe, you're going back to the UK. Firstly, how much longer are you two going out together? And the reason I asked that is because Pyromania's 40 this year, and I know you've done anniversary shows before. I wondered if you might do any other anniversary shows. The band's formation's nearly 50 years away, so...
No, I don't think we're going to do a 40th anniversary, but we're going to be touring with Motley till the end of the year. Because, you know, we've got like stuff in Australia, Japan, and that's like November. So yeah, we'll keep going till then. We're having a blast, we're loving it with them. We've known them since 1983. So it's like just a bunch of kids on your mates at school, really. Only in a big plane instead of a bus.
Hello. Hello. Laurent from Italian Magazine. You have just released a symphonic album, which sounds really great.
Thank you.
It's not really your world, so how did you prepare yourself for such event as a rock musician? And how is it to play with a classical music orchestra?
Well, it was certainly a pleasure to watch them work. You know, Joe had to re-record some vocals. Too Late for Love, the verse melody was too high, which was appropriate with a rock band, but not so appropriate with an orchestra, so he re-sang that. I think most of our input was giving opinions on how to redress the songs, like what to take out and what to leave in, and how to find that right balance. We were very fortunate that we have a wonderful relationship with an arranger called Eric Gorfian, who's an old friend of ours, lives in Los Angeles, and he's done string arrangements for Def Leppard in the past. And Eric was very patient with us. He would do mock-ups on his keyboard and send them to us, and we would say yes, we would say no, try this, try that. I think, you know, certain songs we knew before they even started, they were going to sound pretty stupid. Like I think
Pour Some Sugar.
Yeah, Pour Some Sugar. You know, it's probably the band's biggest hit, but we knew before they even started. We said this isn't going to sound good because it sounds leaden, like pompous to put big strings on rock songs usually. You know, so we really had to change some things to make it work. I think Animal is a wonderful example where, you know, the drums were pulled out, the guitars were pulled out, and there was so much space allowed for Joe's voice in the verse. It's a wonderful vocal by Joe, probably one of his best ever. He's just got great tonality in his voice. And
recorded in Paris, by the way.
so, there you go, recording. So, you know, that song was really allowed to breathe, that vocal was really allowed to shine, and then the band comes in at various points throughout the song. So that was a really good example of that, but Sugar didn't work. We did try, and that's why we had to end up going with a different version. This version that our friend M. Greiner had recorded years ago, and so we worked that. You know, and then other songs really lend themselves to the drama and the majesty of an orchestra. Usually the big epic tracks like Gods of War or Paper Sun, you know, they just become so much more, so broad and so cinematic in scope when you put this orchestra, because there's so much room for the orchestra to add drama to songs like that are naturally dramatic to begin with. But with the straight up hard rock songs, it's very difficult. Rock of Ages was another, you know. So, that was really our work, you know, was to be executive producers. I think, you know, Joe was really the only one who had to go into the studio and re-record. But for us to be in the studio at Abbey Road with the orchestra was a real pleasure. I mean, they're so incredibly talented, all of them, and just it's such an emotional experience to be in a room with an orchestra and to hear your music have this whole different life with this incredible different genre.
Hi. Hello. Hi.
Hello.
I'm Amelia from twinmusics.com. I'm going to ask you our signature question today. So if you could have any band play one of your songs, which band would it be? Which song would it be? And would it be in your style or their style?
Oh shit, I don't know. Come on. Anyone, we'd have to hear it. Like, for example, Vivian just said our friend M. Grimer had done this version of Pour Some Sugar on Me. We didn't even know about it. We just, 20 years ago, she sent us a video. And we're like, wow, this is great. So that it's something like that. You never know how someone's going to do it. It'd be great to hear, I don't know, Jimi Hendrix Experience or something do a song. You know, I mean, it could be anyone. It depends on where they go with it. So yeah, we hear lots of different versions of our stuff. Some are great and some not so great, you know.
Hi guys, Eamon from Eon Music in Ireland. Hey Viv, how's it going? Viv, you've been in the band 30 years now, but Phil, it could have been so very different. Adrian Smith from Iron Maiden almost joined Def Leppard. Tell me what that was like, rehearsing with Adrian Smith. How far did it go? What did it sound like having an Iron Maiden member possibly going to take Viv, what became Viv's place? And how do you think history would have recorded that?
So we invited 5 people we knew, 5 friends, and Vivian just fit in straight away. It was just like meant to be. Adrian's great, he's a great singer. That was one of the other things, you know, it's like if you can sing. And there were some other people we played, John Sykes, also an amazing player, amazing singer. Vivian's voice is unbelievable. And more than that, he just fit in the style of what we were doing. So with Adrian, he played in context with what we were doing when we were rehearsing. Like, we were doing Def Leppard songs. We ain't doing Iron Maiden songs. We ain't doing Dio songs. We're doing Def Leppard. So whoever comes into our house has to kind of play by the same rules. So that was the thing, and the big fit straight in, you know. And like I said, there was only 5 people. We didn't do like cattle calls or anything like that because it was still a bit painful, you know, after losing Steve, to be quite honest. So we wanted someone who emotionally would work with us and as a family member. And it did straight off the bat. It was just wonderful, you know. So there you go. And here he is.
And actually, if I might follow up, if I can be cheeky, sorry. One of my favourite moments in Def Leppard set is Switch 625. What's it like for you guys as guitar players to reinterpret the work of, I think Pete and Steve were very underrated actually as a duo, what they brought, your styles coming in and doing them, does it feel something special to be doing their...
Well, you know, we do our thing, you know, me and Viv have been in the band longer than Pete and Steve have, so we do our spin on it, we our take, you know, we play very different from each other, but we're a duo, we're a partnership, and we have been for 30 years, and that's such a big deal, and we nail the fuck out of it, in a very different way to what they would do, you know, so it's, we kind of made it ours, we respect what the song is, it's awesome, obviously, it sounds killer on the new album, The Drastic Symphonies as well, but we made it our own, and we do our thing to we still make mistakes on it every single night.
I make mistakes every fucking night. I get it wrong. It's always one note at least.
Yeah, we always listen out for it tonight. There'll be a few. And hysteria. I always fuck up on that as well. But yeah, this is rock and roll, you know.
Hi guys, I'm François from Metal de France, the biggest Leppard fans community in France. I have a question for you. 40 years or less of career, what makes you proud regarding your long career? What would you like on in particular?
Well, we're actually ticking all the boxes. You know, we've got in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We've got a stadium tour under our belt. We sold over 110 million albums. I know, and it sounds, but it's amazing when you look back at it. We just had a book come out. We recorded with the Royal Philharmonic. So all these things keep happening, and we're doing this amazing tour with Motley Crue. We're having a blast. One of the things, I mean, there's always things to go to, you know. So the 4 years has gone really quick. I've been in, this is my 41st year, 42nd year actually this year, and Viv it's 30. So we're loving it, and we're better than we were. The singing has got better, the playing has got better, songwriting, everything about it. And some bands are not fortunate enough to get to that stage, so we're really relishing it. Something also happened a few nights ago when we got to Scandinavia. We're honestly going, this is the best we've ever sounded, and people going, they go, your vocals are fake, and it's like, no, it's real.
And then I played a bunch of bum notes and switched it to
cover it up,
and we remembered that we're not fallible.
But you know, we've kind of hit a point, and like I said, you know, most bands don't get to do that, so we're so proud, and one of them you'll see tonight, you know, hopefully.
Thank you, and thank you for your starting career.
Thank you.
Hello guys, we're coming from Colombia, South America, all the way here, so it's a pleasure to have the opportunity to be with you guys.
Thank you.
Well, you are a transgenerational band, you could say that, like fans at different ages, so I would like to know how is your kind of relation, it's very, very, very new, probably kids, 15, 16 years old, that are just getting to know your sound. How is it, like, have you seen kids, or have you seen like very, very young people?
Oh, it's wonderful. We've been saying that for about the last 20 years or so. You know, I personally think that when music distribution changed so dramatically with the digital era, and Napster was the first thing to really kick that off, you know, music lost a lot of its value to people. They weren't buying it or they weren't paying for it, but you know, they were still listening to it. And I think that, you know, obviously with younger people are more motivated by technology and technological change. And so I think all of a sudden, a lot of younger people were listening to this band called Def Leppard, you know, and bands of our generation. And, you know, we'd start to see people at our shows who didn't fit the usual demographic. And here we are 20 or so years later, and all around the world, in your country and indeed here in France and in UK and in the United States, Canada, you know, we play now to a multi-generational audience. And it used to be, maybe 30 years ago, there were some kids in the audience because their parents brought them. You know, now they're there because they want to be at a Def Leppard concert. It's really energizing for us because, you know, we played so many of these songs we've been playing for decades, so for us to play them one more time, it's difficult to get that enthusiasm, and we always feed from an audience. We're like vampires. We need the energy of an audience, and whatever an audience gives us, we take it in and we give it back 100 times more, and it's that energy that we rely on. And when we have a younger element in our audience, it nourishes us and it makes us feel energized again, and that's part of what keeps us going, and we're happy to see it grow. Can I always say that the lighting in here is really harsh? I'm sorry. I'm sorry you have to sit in this room. It'll give you a headache.
Thanks a lot.
Hey Phil, how are you? Jack Ford, we're the Irish Daily Star. I saw you about 30 years ago playing guitar and music maker in Dublin. You were absolutely brilliant.
Oh, thank you.
As a young guitar player, you blew me away. I was awestruck with everything. So I know you lived in Dublin. Can I ask you, did you enjoy living in Dublin? Just to hang on the Pink Elephant and so forth. Did you enjoy it? What do you miss about Dublin? Does the Irish fan, did they give you a good perception of Dublin?
It's got so much culture to it, obviously, a lot of writers and everything, and you feel that there. When we first went there, it was very much a pub culture, mainly that was the thing, and I just stopped drinking, so it was kind of hard for me at first. But you know, what I'd really missed, like 40 foot, I used to go swimming in there, amazing, you know, by the James Joyce Tower. And it's just so much about it, about the culture and everything, and just it's got such a massive artistic heritage, you know, not just music, but you know, poetry and just the arts and everything. So it's just really cool, and it's just like everyone's lovely there. It's just this vibe if you get there. It's just so that's what you notice when you come back after being away for so long. You know, I lived in lots of different places, you know, Donnybrook, I mean, all around Dublin area, you know, just different Milltown, just all different apartments and different houses over the years because we spent so much time there. But no, I love going back now. I didn't at first, but I used to not like being in London. I was born there, but same deal. I go back there now, and I love it. So it's
Of course, you lived in Dublin for the weather, not for tax reasons.
It's funny because I did leave the UK for California because of the weather. I know that's shallow, but now I'm a bit more grown up and I can actually deal with a bit of rain and cold.
Hi,
hello.
My name is Jean from Radio Panic, Brussels, Belgium. A question to Vivian. Of course, your priority is Def Leppard, but about your project Lasting Line, it's not difficult to manage the both?
No, I mean, you know, obviously we're very busy with Def Leppard, and that's always a joy to do that. But you know, there's been a couple of times when I had to call the guys in Last Line and say, sorry, you know, we had some shows booked, I can't do it because of Def Leppard. But you know, that's part of the game. You know, I mean, Def Leppard is my job. It's the band that I'm committed to, and you know, when I have time. Last in Line is a side project. It is a very serious side project to me. I work very hard at it and have done for about 10 years, and it's nice to see it grow. But you know, Def Leppard, I eat better with Def Leppard. We have better food.
Hi guys, Neil from Total Rock.
Hello.
Second row.
Oh, yeah. You were in Sheffield, weren't you?
How did you guess?
Because you're wearing the t-shirt.
Yeah. And that's part of my question. I wanted to ask you a two-part question. I saw the Sheffield Leadmill gig. You were playing in front of 800 people. You normally play in front of a minimum of 8,000, 18,000, whatever. What was it like playing in front of a small crowd? And you looked like you're in your element playing those deep cuts. There was less of the big hits. What are the songs that you individually would love to put into that main set, but you know you can't because you need to nudge out an Annabelle or pour some sugar on me? What are the two songs that you'd love to put in there?
I always like playing Paper Sun. That's always fun, and it sounds great on the orchestral album as well. And yeah, you can't unless we're doing like a residency. Like when we do Vegas, we do like 2.5 hours, so you can pretty much play everything. But so unless we do a show where it's just us, we have to kind of keep the songs so we won't get kind of shot at or thrown at us.
Your song, your deep cut?
Yeah, the same thing. I mean, anything that we don't normally play is always refreshing to do. I lost my voice at the Leadmill show. 4 songs in, I couldn't sing, and what we were doing, Bring It On the Heartbreak, and Phil doesn't normally sing till the last chorus, and I'm like, Phil, you gotta sing. So, but unfortunately, it was just that one show. It came back in time for the Bramall Lynn show. But yeah, anything that we don't normally play is always refreshing. But you know, again, my point goes back to the audience. It's always the audience that makes every single song for us. You start playing Photograph, and you see thousands of people light up and go crazy, and then you know you're just as happy as they are. You know, but it's. Yeah, it's fun to play when we do Vegas, like Phil said. We can do things like Billy's Got a Gun, or you know, Gods of War, or something we don't normally play, and that's usually fun. And then we have a legitimate excuse when we fuck up because we don't play it very often. I got no excuse for screwing up the other songs that we play every night. That doesn't stop me from doing it.
All right, this is the last question. Thank you.
Hello again. What is great with Def Leppard is your creativity. Most of the bands from your generation have stopped releasing new stuff, new albums. What are your motivations to release new songs and finally new material and not repeating the classics all the time?
So I write songs like every week. I'm constantly writing songs, and if I didn't have somewhere to put them, I would go insane. So that's it. We've got lots of ideas, and you have to, as an artist, that's what you do, right? So we don't understand why people wouldn't do that. I know you don't really need to do that. Most bands, they just tour and stuff like that, but we think it's a really important part. If you're going to be an artist or a band, you've got to have new material coming out all the time. You've got to just keep reinventing yourselves. I mean, we look different to what we used to. We've actually tried to turn that up a bit as well, and like I said, the playing and the singing has got better. So everything about it has to be. You know, we're an artist, and we have to keep doing that. We keep maintaining that. Otherwise, it'd be really lame, you know.
Thank you, everyone. The huge
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ha ha ha!